Okay, Fragger back, and we are doing more N plus with these following episodes, which I believe is 20 through 24. And we start off with one of the last easy levels. Actually, this first episode that we have here is all in all fairly easy, but they start to show its teeth, and trust me, we're not going to be seeing many more easy levels from here on out. Particulate is actually a fairly easy level. I'm gonna get many mileage out of saying easy level here. All you really got to do is just pay a little bit of attention to the ones at the bottom level, or the platform that you're standing on. The ones above you aren't too much of an issue, because they usually don't cross paths with the bottom one. Hatcher is actually really easy. You just got to run straight, and your fall, just do a little bit of air control, and you'll land right on the block that you're looking for. And on the way back, see, I kind of had to pull it back there a little bit. You can also grab some of that gold if you want to make some of the end part here a little easier, but in all honesty, you're going to be overloaded with gold anyways. All you got to do in this one here is either keep that missile alive or blow it up there. Keeping it alive is a little better, but you can't have any leeway on your way down if you keep it alive. So that's it for episode 20. Let's do 21 here. Cyclone A is the first time the game starts to show its teeth in a simple level. This is pretty easy here, but it's just really, really simple to screw yourself up. What you really have to do is make sure that the turret fires and then jump across it while it's re-aiming. And if you time it right, you're able to actually not get shot by it. So, it's not too bad. Abandoned facility. When I first started doing these videos in the hard games thread, someone asked if this still exists. And this is the first real level we can show off that if you do wall kick a little too hard, you'll hit the ceiling and die. And this level is where you first really learn that it exists. And there's a few other levels where it does exist, but when you're on your way back out, it's really easy to kick yourself up a little too hard and die. Now this is when some of the dick designs start popping up in this game, where they decide to have you start at the gate, go all the way to one other part of the level, and then all the way back to beat it. And it's just time consuming, it's not really that fun, and the only really difficult part is the first jump that you have to do on the very bottom there, the one that I kicked all the way up and died. And the trek back through these mines. These are the two most difficult parts of this specific level. Everything else is pretty easy. You've got a lot of room for your wall kicks on all the other transitional periods that you have to do there. You see I'm being a little careful to not go up too fast, although most of these you actually can't kick off of fast enough to cause the speed that you need to kill yourself. Pretty long level, not gonna lie. And here we go. This is one of the more tricky jumps you can see here. There we go. I mean, in this specific level, it's one of the more tricky jumps. There's a lot more tricky jumps in this whole thing. Okay, moving on to Router. This is actually a fairly simple level when you know the real trick. You gotta goad those into attacking, go to where they were, and then just do that the entire time. The last one is the one that kind of causes issues, but it's pretty easy to cheese it into doing what you want it to do. Got kind of close there. A nice little dick move there is to put the mine at the very bottom so that you can't just fall all the way down. Now you gotta kind of trick, there it goes, into shooting out, because if you, of course, you jump over, it's gonna hit you and you're immediately gonna die. Also, you got a wall kick on your way down, or else you'll kind of slide a little too fast, probably won't be able to hit the final area, and go right into the mines and die. Throne is a really easy level. It just looks really complicated by the actual art itself, but that could just be solid gray because none of it factors into it. It's just a little bit of gold collection here for the final level here being a little long. But we're going to have a nice little tricky move here, and whoa, that was close. And for some reason, the game gives me that entrance. Mugen here is actually, it's not a difficult level, it's just a little long. It's really easy to miss jumps. Like specifically, like this jump here that we have to make is really easy to miss. And this transitional jump is really easy to miss if you're not sliding correctly. So you can easily burn time missing a lot of your jumps. But as I said, from pretty much from here on out, you make one single mistake, you're going to be restarting because time starts to become a major issue from here on out. It starts in this episode where time starts to become, well, this part that I'm putting out is where it starts to become an issue. And that's in this one right here. Get Well Soon Lappy is a fairly simple level, but if you're not planning it that carefully, you're really easy to fall right into a path of one of the chasers here. So we just got to kind of avoid them a little bit. Get a little bit of gold if you can, because you're really going to need it on this episode. And this is one of the ones that does it to you. Back to School is really easy to sap a lot of your time away from you. A lot of the gold is not in areas you're going to be in. So you're going to be kind of staring at that gold going, man, I kind of want to get that, but man, those missiles are dicks. See, I'm having some issues here. There we go. This is another one where you got to go in a complete circle, like twice, which is not fun. That's a good little kick there. You start to get proficient at those at this point in the game because you want to start moving as quickly as you can, but stopping yourself from dying, and that's when things start to become a little dicey. We're going to be in the 60s here when we beat this level, which is a little too low for this episode. Yeah, see, we're in the 60s. Rippled is when I actually do this, zoom out. If you click the right analog stick twice, it adjusts your zoom to showing the full field. I usually don't do it because you only really need to see it if there's a ton of missiles that you got to be careful of, or there's a lot of off-screen things happening that's going to affect you. And this is one of the levels where not being able to see the whole field is actually detrimental. And the big problem that you see, of course, with zooming all the way out is there's a lot of gray space. Didn't do a really good job of optimizing that. And that whole line of gold up there is taunting me. Thinking about getting it, but it's a little dicey going up there, so let's just beat the level at this point. Mr. Softener is a neat little level, but once again, it does the thing I really don't like, which is here you start at the exit, go get the thing to turn on the exit, and do this, and this is another level where I spent a little too much time on it. Probably should have restarted a few times while playing this, but this level isn't too bad, so it's one of those things that I completely forgot how insane the end is. And yeah, it's kind of insane, and you'll kind of burn a little bit of your gold there. Bounce. And yeah, if you hit these a little too hard, you'll go right into the mines, and that'll straight up kill you, of course. The other thing, too, is that if you're wall kicking, you have a really good chance of actually bumping into the bouncy pads. Bouncy blocks, sorry. And that will slow you down immensely. And if you time this kind of just right, you should be able to fall right into the door, and I kind of like hitting the block there, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to the next level. Arco Arena. This is actually a fairly difficult level. This is all about timing and keeping these missiles alive. I had to kill that first missile, made sure the second missile was just firing, so I was able to make it detonate into the wall. Doing some juking here, trying to grab some time, and then keeping that first missile alive as long as possible, because if it hits that wall, it's going to nail you right away. It happened quite a few times when I was playing. Now, hey, look, it's an easier version of this level. I have no idea why this is here. It's almost like they mix up the two levels, but this is immeasurably easier than the counterpart that we did in an earlier video. Now, I also actually switched controllers in here to a somewhat newer one, so I'm getting a little daring here trying to get all these gold, because I know this one's another one where we're going to need a little bit of gold here to beat this. Ooh, that was a little close. Now, on the way down here, if you kick off right at the right time, you'll be able to hit that corner and slide straight into the exit, but I wasn't able to. Fears the Mind Killer is a pretty cool level. Like, if you practice this part right here, is very useful for a thing that we're going to be doing by the end of this section. So yeah, learning how to juke these things is a very important skill to learn. Also get quite a bit of gold. You kind of want to leave this area in the upper 80s, early 90s in time as much as you can. And I think I kind of end up around there, but one of the tricks you can do is obviously wall kick back and forth on the way down to get that gold, but I had a few issues doing that on my previous runs, so I decided to skip it on the way out. You'll see I'm actually going to lose quite a bit of time in not doing that. Oops. We're in the 70s now. Crap. Ode. This one is a little tricky. You can see it's a lot of corners which are very difficult to kick off of. And if you run into them at the wrong speed, you're going to get shot straight into these chasers. So it's a lot of just managing your momentum and trying to keep it a little slow until you need it and somehow making crazy jumps like that. No idea how I was able to pull that off. But now you can see we're in the late 60s in time, and Chakra will help us out quite a bit. Chakra's a little deceiving in the way that it's built. You need to go straight up, avoid all the gold that you can until you hit the button. Because if you take too long, all these chasers will build up in that final little area up there and be really, really difficult to get that button to the point where it's almost impossible. We just gotta wait for the second one to jump in, and then you'll start to see what I'm talking about. That's just with two. I think we're going to be able to see the third one in there, or else I'm a little too speedy here. Yeah, there he is. You can kind of see how difficult it would be to grab that button if you decide to grab the gold on the way up. Now, at this point, the diminishing returns of getting the gold versus how much time it's going to allot you is pretty low, so we might as well head to the exit. To the second hardest level in this section. Trapped. This is the pinnacle of the design that I hate, that is kind of all over the place in this game, which is go here, go back here, go to this place, go back to this place, and do this. You have to do this middle section about 2.5 times, which just is not fun. You gotta be kind of careful here hitting this button so you don't go too far up, same thing on the way down, blah, blah, blah. Now we gotta transverse this whole thing back just so we can hit a button to turn on the door so that we can transverse it again to go to the door. Hooray. You can kind of see why having a little extra gold is good, so you can actually take your time in this area. Not really necessary if you're kind of just hopping over them like I'm here, saving yourself some time. You can see here we're going to start getting to the 40s. Well, close to the 40s by the time we're done with it, so the extra time buffer was well needed. That's going to do it for this episode, and let's check out what's in 24 so we can hit the halfway point. There Is No I is a neat little level. It's all about air control. If you want to practice your air control, this is a really good level to practice it in, because you pretty much have to take a specific pass so you have momentum with your speed in the air. There we go. So, learning air control is, of course, very crucial in this game, and a good way to learn it. Hustle! This one took me a little while to re-crack. You have to hit all the ones in the bottom first while this laser is there. Kind of want to trick this top one into firing as much as possible. Specifically, you want him to fire there before you do this trick. And if you can have him fire where I was standing originally, not the firing to the left, you want to fire to the right, because you don't want him to be firing when you're grabbing this button. And if you can get him all the way down like so, it's even better. And make this one fire there, and you got a clear shot to the end. If you don't grab the middle, the bottom buttons first, it makes it incredibly difficult to grab them when it's all trucking around there trying to zap you with lasers. Symmetry is a neat little level, not because of the way that it's set up. It's kind of set up kind of okay-like, But this kind of level we're going to see again. In fact, it's going to be in the very last episode of this game. Now, in that kind of hell set of 5 levels, and it's kind of a built-off version of this, much longer with a lot more chasers. And it's kind of interesting because that last level that you see there is from the same set. Now, this level isn't that difficult, but what makes it difficult is the fact that if you do not play this level fast and you don't get a lot of gold in here, you're going to really hurt yourself in the last area. And collecting gold in the last level is not that fun. So you want to try to leave this area if you can with about 100 or in the 80s, I mean the 90s, sorry, which will make your life a lot easier. But you see here, and I'm kind of in the low 80s, and this is going to bite me in the ass in this level, and I'm going to have to collect gold. Paper Thin Walls is another one of those speed bump levels. This will really test your skill in this game. It's a lot of air control, dodging mines, dodging these chasing things, all at the same time, while you're kind of running low on gold because there hasn't been a lot of opportunities to collect it. Now, these mines are kind of built so you can do these jumps, so you kind of have to learn where you can and cannot jump, and I spent a little too much time there dodging that little ball there. Now I'm taking a look at my time going, yeah, I really need to grab time. You're going to see that it's something that we really did need. This one down here is a little difficult to learn, but you kind of have to do a little hopscotch here. And if you do it right, you're going to want him on the right-hand side. Makes it a little easier to do this on the way out, but it's not really necessary as I proved there. You can see we're really running out of time here because this section here is not exactly easy, and you really don't want to die on this last section by going a little too fast. Trust me, I've done it. It's not fun. Oh, it's turning orange. Yep, it's turning red. You can see we're in the 20s. And we probably would have failed if we didn't grab that gold there on the bottom, but that's the end of this episode, and the game has really stopped pulling punches. So I guess I'll see you guys next time for when the game actually gets legitimately difficult. See you guys.